We want to return now to our top story. A tragic end to the search for a missing submersible near the wreck of the Titanic. The U.S. Coast Guard saying debris from the Titan has been located, signaling that it suffered what they call a catastrophic implosion, killing all 5 people on board. Joining me now is Guillermo Sohnlein, co-founder of OceanGate Expeditions. Good morning. Thank you for being with us this morning. I should point out that you left OceanGate some time ago. Can you tell us, first of all, your reaction to this tragic incident and your thoughts on those who died?
Yeah, I first found out that they'd lost communications with the sub on Monday afternoon, my time. I'm currently in Barcelona. And the first 24 hours were obviously disbelief and shock. Now I've had 3 days to prepare for one of the outcomes, and that was the press conference yesterday. And it's been really difficult for me. And I just can't imagine what it must have been like for the families of the 5 crew members, or even for the OceanGate team that was on site this whole time trying to find and rescue their team members.
Do you take any comfort in the fact that a lot of the experts are saying that the 5 on board likely had no idea what happened? It happened instantaneously.
Yeah, those of us that work in the deep ocean exploration community, we know the risks associated with doing this. And obviously one of them is the risk of a catastrophic implosion at depth. And we've always talked about the fact that in some weird, paradoxical way, that might actually be the best way to go, because an implosion at that depth probably would happen at almost supersonic speeds, if not more than that. And you would probably be dead before your brain could even process that anything was wrong.
OceanGate is under a lot of scrutiny right now for how safely that company operates. Did you have safety concerns? Is that why you left OceanGate?
No, not at all. I know from the time Stockton and I co-founded the company in August of 2009 until I left in January 2013, we operated as safely as possible, and we had a very safety-conscious culture. I left in January 2013 because it was the right time in the development of the company for me to turn over the company to Stockton. We were just entering the development of Cyclops, the predecessor sub to Titan. We were entering a very engineering-heavy phase, and that was Stockton's expertise, not mine. And so it just made sense for him to take over the company at that point.
There are growing calls, and they will likely get louder, for more regulation around this industry. Do you agree?
That's really not my purview. It's really, I'll leave that to policymakers and folks who deal with these kinds of things. I do know that every deep ocean exploration operator, including OceanGate, again, is very aware of the risks involved in this kind of operation. And all of us take safety very seriously, regardless of what the regulations are. We really push ourselves to do this as safely as possible. And after all, we're also getting in the subs. I think one thing that we need to keep in mind is that Stockton was also in the sub that he designed when it perished earlier this week.
Can you give us some insight into Stockton and his mentality, and also other risk takers, and this draw that they have to the Titanic, and to be able to view that wreckage through their own eyes? What is it that got Stockton so passionate about this downed shipwreckage?
Well, first of all, Stockton was one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. He was a very diligent engineer. He was not a risk taker at all. In fact, I'd say he was risk averse.
Really?
He was very good at risk management. And I think anybody who does exploration, whether it's space, oceans, high altitudes, they'll tell you the same thing. They are not risk takers. They're risk managers, in large part because they're keenly aware of the dangers of operating in such extreme environments. And the passion that Stockton had wasn't necessarily for Titanic. It was for exploring the oceans and opening up the oceans for all of humanity so that we could learn more about the ocean and ultimately preserve it.
How do you think things, Guillermo, should move forward in terms of the investigation now? It's unlikely that the remains of any of those five will be found. What would you like to see happen next?
Actually, what I would like to see happen next would be starting now, which is to have all of us, kind of stop speculating as to what happened. All of us want answers. I'm sure even Stockton's family wants answers. And right now is kind of a time to mourn the loss of these five explorers. There's going to be days, weeks, months to collect data and sift through everything and go through an investigation. Hopefully at the end of that, we'll have some answers because recovering any sort of information from the ocean floor at that depth is going to be extremely difficult. So hopefully we'll have some information, and then OceanGate and the rest of the ocean exploration community can take some lessons learned from that and go forward.
Guillermo Sohnlein, thank you so much. Glad you could join us this morning, and our condolences for the loss of your friend.
Thank you for having me.